Holy cow. Alrighty, there's a start. On the football jig. Haven't even put on any minnows yet. I just had a jig on my pole, decided to throw it, and I haven't even filmed an intro yet. So there's a decent start. Alrighty, well, first fish of the day, and I guess I'll do my intro now. As you can see, we are back at the sluice pipe finally. Finally made it back here. Did pretty well here a couple weeks ago, and even though I live pretty close, there he goes. Even though I live pretty close, I just haven't really had the time to get back here and go fishing. And last time I was here, the bait fish were stacked up pretty good under the pipe, and it brought in the predators. Hopefully that's the case today. Water's pretty murky, I can't really see. The water level has also dropped a good 5-6 feet since I was here last. They're starting to draw down the water here at the Allegheny Reservoir for the winter, so I don't know what that's going to do for the fishing, but anyway, here comes the wind. We're back at the sluice pipe. Let's see what else we can catch. Well, unfortunately, we just lost the jig. I broke off on a snag. That bass was actually one of the few fish I've caught at this spot on lures. Typically, I just stick to bait fishing here. I've never done very well with lures. The fish just don't seem to hit them at this particular spot for whatever reason. And the other issue is, as you can see, there's so many snags and rocks in here. I usually end up breaking off eventually, and lures aren't cheap. So at this point, we're going to transition to bait fishing. We've got minnows and shrimp and night crawlers. So there's everything in here. I mean, we've got this pole with a sinker on it, fishing for catfish and carp, and suckers and whatever else. And these two poles I've got rigged up for minnows. So see what kind of predators we can catch. There's walleye, bass, largemouth and smallmouth, everything in here. And speaking of which, we've got ourselves a bite on film. That's cool. Biting like a perch, actually. Got it, whatever it is. Feels decent size. I think it's a big perch. We'll find out. Bullhead. Alright, as I mentioned, carp, catfish, bullhead, they're all in here. And cool, well, we're catching fish, we're having fun. As you can see, this is a gorgeous lake. And alright, let's get this bullhead off the line. Let's let Mr. Bullhead go. There he goes. The fish can never seem to figure out which way they want to go today for some reason. Down. Oh, and it popped up. I think I spooked it running over here. No, it's still on there. What do we got? Looks like a big silver bass. Holy cow, it's a huge silver bass. Not used to catching silver bass that big. I don't want to lose them. Ah, boy, we're going to have to measure him. My PB is 15 inches. I don't think he's quite 15, but 15, it might be 15 and a half. Caught it at Dunkirk Harbor a couple years ago, but this guy's going to be close. Let's see, where's a safe place to measure him? I don't want him flapping around in the dirt, but we do want to get a measurement, see how close he measures up to our personal best. These things are decent eating. Alright, he's 12, we'll call him 13 inches. Yeah, 12 and a half. We'll call him 12 and a half inches. Not my PB, but definitely my biggest silver bass in a while. And a lot bigger than you catch in the small rivers usually. And we'll let this guy go. Alright, that's an interesting catch. We used to catch a lot more of these back when we fished in the Buffalo area at the Niagara River and stuff, but I don't catch silver bass as often anymore. A big bird fly overhead. I think that's a juvenile bald eagle, but I'm not sure. Got something on the minnow. It's getting to the point where it's hard to see my bobber. I just saw my pole bending. Is that a crappie? That could be a giant crappie again. Yes, it's a giant crappie. Oh my goodness. We've got ourselves a big old crappie. I think that's a white crappie. I think I swallowed it. So I think this might be dinner. Yeah, I think this is going to have to come home because he swallowed it pretty good. That's interesting. I was not expecting a crappie here. You know, I've never caught a crappie in the Allegheny Reservoir until this year, and I've heard that if you can find the crappie in the Allegheny Reservoir, they're all big. Like, this is, you know, this is like the smallest they get in the reservoir typically. I mean, obviously there's smaller ones that grow into this size, but I've heard if you can find the schools of crappie in here, they're big ones. And I guess that's true. That's been my experience this year. Granted, I have been fishing the reservoir a lot more this year just because where I live now, so I guess it makes sense that I found them a couple times, but cool. I don't know if they're really schooled up this time of year, but hopefully we'll catch some more. That's cool. Oh, while ignore the mess here, I'm re-rigging my sinker pole. It got snagged. We'll measure him real quick. He's actually not too giant. He's only 11 inches, so not that big of a crappie, but bigger than what I guess I'm used to catching. Typically in, I don't know, Chautauqua Lake and Quaker Lake and stuff, they seem to average like 9-10 inches, so cool. Alright, we're gonna take him home. And I believe this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is a white crappie and not a black crappie. So yeah, I think that's like, that is I think my second biggest white crappie, so that's cool. Go again, bobber's under. Oh no, just pop back up. Alrighty folks, well, now for the dreaded trail out of here. Thank you guys for watching. We're calling it quits. I am taking home that crappie. I would have kept that silver bass too, or white bass. People in my area call them silver bass. Would have taken that home too. They're good eating if I'd have known I was going to catch a crappie that swallowed it. But whatever, we're taking home the crappie. It's a good meal for one anyway. And it was a decent day. We fished for about 2 hours. Ironically, today we caught a smallmouth, a big silver bass, a big crappie, and a bullhead. The last time I fished here, we caught a carp, a pike, and a largemouth, and a big perch. So it's just crazy the variety that's in this place. I am fishing the opposite side of the sluice pipe than I did last time, just because historically I do a little bit better on this side, and this trail, believe it or not, is slightly easier, or less difficult, I should say, than the trail on the other side. So I took this side since it was open and no one was down here, but ended up being a decent day still. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next fishing adventure. Final push. Here we go. Ugh. Whoa.